Hello and welcome back to Songs of Six. Look at all these piles of wood. Wow. Welcome to Caannibalonia. This is a really hard name to pronounce if you think about it, but we are making a cannibal city again. Yes, of course, another one, because I don't play the Tilapi enough. And speaking of which, I don't even have a cannibal in the city yet. So what I've been doing is going for roundness. And ideally, to make a round building, you're going to need to have it kind of be in a diagonal shape, because the roundness has changed a little bit. Jake's description of it kind of didn't help me when I asked him like what the deal was. But for the most part, what is occurring is that he wants it to be a little less round for the races that dislike the roundness. So Dundarians. For the guys that like it, well, screw them, they suck. And that's kind of the way that it's, it's been implied. But here we are. We have this beautiful little Tilapi town kind of village thing that I've got going here. And ideally, I'd like to go over what I did and what I'm going to do in the future, and kind of explain to you guys the reason why I'm doing all this is because I realized I'd like some leather. Oop, that's in the wrong spot. So, like I said, I don't give the Tilapi enough love, and they are one of my favorite races in this game. They are something interesting. They are a really unique group of people. They have some awesome things about them that I like. They're very self-sufficient. They maximize potential in the things they're good at. For example, herding, cannibalism obviously is one of those things they like to do. So for example, when you cannibalize a character, you don't only get meat, but you also get leather, cotton, and etc. I think that the only two you get is leather and cotton, actually. Those are the only two things that you can get from something. But just getting those alone, you'll have more cotton and more leather than you'll ever know what to do with. And these guys are pretty decent craftsmen. They're not the worst at crafting. You can see I have some guys crafting here, and just the two of them keeps enough furniture for there to be 100 stored, and all 24 guys have access to at least one tab of furnishing. We could probably bump that up, give them max. So ideally, I'd like to have them have all of their decorations in their little houses. I'm going to go for like a maximum style over substance, kind of like, it's not going to be super organized for the purpose of efficiency. It's going to be more like beauty. So what is this area here? This is kind of this is the zone where people come into our town and they say, wow, this is your town? This is really cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to build a giant, big old inn here eventually. Probably a little bit down further. But we're going to have all of our needs covered in this zone, kind of around this area. And eventually I'll move these pastures down or out of the way. But this is just kind of the starter town. I like to build near the edge. And I'm on a map that doesn't have roads that go from all different directions. Although this little snake river here is kind of funny. I didn't realize it looked like that. But yes, I wanted this to look kind of unique, kind of tribal, but at the same time modern, because I think that they have a modern, they're smart, they're not stupid characters, they're very smart characters. And despite what people think, they actually have some really, really good talents, like making bows and shooting archers in this game are very powerful, and Tilapis are especially really good archers. And not only that, they're pretty good at fighting themselves too. So in the future, I'll have melee troops and archers as well. There'll be different types of guy or women. They're all women. Every single Tilapi is a female. If I look at their population and I go, you can see a Halis, a Laura, Davila. Ooh, she's got a Krull. That's interesting, Davila Krull. Are you in relation to Krull, the ruler, who is a Dundarian, you filthy bastard? I think they look really good, though. I think that they're definitely one of the better looking races. And to kind of encompass that, I want to make it... So what I've gone for is like a... They're living in huts. This is essentially like a little teepee hut type of building. And they have their nice pathways. And eventually we can unlock different roads for these guys. So if I go in here, there's paved roads, cobblestone, fungus. But then if you go down, you get the forest plaza. So that's a type of road that you can get. And it also looks like there's dark plaza and plaza. Let's look at the actual roads option here. So paved roads, highway, we don't want that. Plaza, brick road, they don't care for that. So forest plaza, fine natural stones carefully selected and arranged in harmony with nature. And then painted tastefully, so pedestrians need to be careful not to trip. So their durability is 10% compared to every other pathway. These are extremely high maintenance. So that's going to stink. That's going to stink a lot. But they seem to also like cobblestones too. So a humble road made of natural stones. So the forest plaza is just going to be surrounding the sides of areas that you like. And then the cobblestone road is the road that you're going to want to have as your main road. So it gives you a boost to your speed. Because it's the same as the paved... Actually, it's a better speed bonus than the actual paved road that you go for. So cobblestone is faster. Dark is for these guys, fungus is for them, and the fungus road is for them as well. So all of these different types of roads give each different group of people happiness. So you can see that the Amevians specifically like their own bricked road. They don't seem to care for any other type of road. They just like the bricks. So if you build them in a Amevian city, you have to do the brick roads. But we're going to be doing a lot of cobblestone. I know we spent a little bit of time looking at roads, but I think that all of the city design is very important for your future ideas. So when I spend a lot of time, this city is pretty large for 24 people. And if you think about it, they literally live, there's 12, and there's 24. But we have a lot of services. And the reason I have all of this excess services because I don't want to have it over the load. I always want to have the load be in the green. So once we finish this area, this is done. So they're going to have their little warehouse for now. They're going to have their janitor. But ideally, we'll move these pastures out of here. We'll keep the carpenter for now. We'll keep this warehouse for now. But we'll move them into a better area, much larger area, and start to expand while keeping this central shape here. This core shape, because these are the people who are going to work and live in this area. They're going to be janitors, they're going to be warehouse workers, they're going to be market, food stall workers, etc. And they're just going to live as odd jobbers, probably mostly working in the woodcutter, because we have a good amount of space. 14 slots is a good amount of space. And the woodcutter is much more efficient, and as the Tilapi like it, and they're actually better at it, they produce much more wood per guy, or per female. I'm going to call them guys throughout this. I hope that it doesn't annoy people. But I think that the Tilapi deserve a lot more love, and I potentially may continue my Dundarian series. I hope that I don't annoy people by changing it up, but I've seen the common view on Songs of Six is that you're going to create new cities constantly, and that is something I do, and sometimes I get tired of the same old city. I can't go any further. I just don't want to go for it. Keep going for it. So I start a new city, and I've also been testing. I'm going to see if this here degrades. If it does, I'll remove the fence behind it. But ideally, I'd like to keep these trees tucked in behind the fences, or the benches, and then the fences, and they just stand on the bench and get to the tree. But I don't think he'll he'll do that to get to it. And I don't see any janitors walking around. But let's click it here. Yeah, it doesn't look like it needs any. You can see these red spots. These are spots that are like, that need to be done, but when there's a yellow spot, that means it's got somebody who's claimed it. So the red spots are spots that need to be actively worked on, but it seems like the guys are keeping the area pretty maintained. And the more road you have, the more things you have, the more they have to maintain. So there's constantly a need to maintain things. Oh, I didn't mean to actually, I don't want this to be a janitor. I want that to be a cannibal. Good thing we're not playing in super fast speed here. So, like I said, I kind of just take the shape of a building and I work with it from there. Because some of these buildings need to be big, others don't. And ideally, we don't want to build too much. So we could put two guys is good enough for this building here. And we'll do that. Speed it up. Anyways, I feel like you guys kind of understand when I change up the series. It's not because of my lack of interest in the game. It's more so that my interest in that specific part of the series has lost all hold. I mean, I don't know what I'm saying. I can't even talk or think, but I just couldn't keep going with that city. I was talking to Jake about it, and he said that what had happened to my city wasn't normal, and that it shouldn't have happened. So it was definitely something that was working against me in the long term, and that's kind of why I was having a bad time. So making a new city is pretty much the only option for me in this sense, but I may go back. I think that it's fixed. He also suggested how I could fix it, so I imagine that he has tested it and tried it because I gave him my save. And that's how great Jake is as the dev of this game. He actively will take players' saves himself and check them out and load them up, see what's wrong, come back to you with feedback and tell you like, oh, it was this, and that. You were freaking stupid, kid. That's the problem. But that's pretty much all I've accomplished in this. Is also, this is probably my least favorite thing. If you accidentally place for a dirt road, it's okay, but when you're using like stone roads or something that costs material, it will destroy. It will just remove it completely, instantly. It used to take time. They would like task up that job and they would then go over and remove it, but now it's just instantaneous and gone. So if you put paved stone down or something very valuable, and then you put the flower bed in the wrong spot, oh, there goes your 4 or 8 whatever cut stone. So just keep that in mind. Lots of little tips and tricks in this episode. This is the humble beginning episode, as I like to call them, and then we're gonna get into the crazy stuff later on when I maximize the distance here. We're gonna keep going down straight. And the reason I'm doing straight roads is because I think you can maximize the potential of round buildings with straight roads. So you can do things like this. So we could fit 5 nice buildings in here and kind of make them all work. I probably will move this or make it like cross like that again. I don't know. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for being supporters for so long. All you people who've been here since the start. I still appreciate you. I know I don't say it anymore, but I do. So anyways, thank you. Goodbye.